The combat diver's knife. Zero visibility. 30 meters down. Something just touched your leg. This is the nightmare scenario every Commando Hubert operator trains for, and in that moment, only one weapon matters: the blade strapped to your thigh. The French combat swimmer's knife isn't designed for show. The serrated spine cuts through fishing nets in seconds. The Tanto-style point penetrates neoprene dive suits without deflecting. The grip is oversized, because underwater, you're wearing thick gloves and your fine motor skills disappeared 10 minutes ago. What separates Commando Hubert from amateur divers is this: they train for knife combat in complete darkness. They learn to sense water displacement, the subtle pressure wave created by another body moving nearby. They practice killing strokes that work against the resistance of seawater. No slashing, no wide swings, only direct thrusts aimed at exposed areas: throat, armpit, inner thigh. The knife serves another purpose most people ignore. Entanglement kills more combat swimmers than enemy action. Fishing nets, anchor cables, kelp forests. A diver who can't cut himself free in 3 seconds is a diver who drowns. Commando Hubert selection includes timed escape drills in near-zero visibility with progressively more complex entanglements. Fail the drill, fail selection. The blade is survival. Everything else is secondary. But when the enemy is 15 meters away and closing, you need something with range. HK P11 underwater pistol. Heckler & Koch denied this weapon existed for 20 years. NATO governments refused to confirm deployment. Intelligence agencies classified every detail. Even now, with the P11 publicly acknowledged, most operational specifications remain sealed. Here's what we know. The pistol fires 5 steel darts, each 10 centimeters long, using electrically ignited propellant charges. Effective range underwater is 15 meters near surface, declining with depth. Above water, the weapon is virtually silent. Commando Hubert has carried the P11 since the 1980s. The engineering solves a fundamental physics problem. Conventional bullets lose velocity within 2 meters underwater. Water is 800 times denser than air. The resistance is overwhelming. But the P11's flechettes are hydrodynamically stabilized, designed specifically to maintain trajectory through liquid environments. The terrifying detail nobody discusses: when fired underwater, the sound is absorbed almost instantly. A combat swimmer can eliminate an enemy diver without alerting his partner swimming 5 meters away. The kill is silent. The body sinks. The mission continues. The reload limitation creates its own pressure. Once all 5 barrels are fired, the entire cluster must be shipped back to Germany. Operators cannot reload in the field. Every shot must count. 5 darts, 1 engagement, no margin for error. But personal weapons only matter in close encounters. The real damage happens differently. Limpet Mines, July 10, 1985, Auckland Harbor, 11:38 p.m. 2 explosions ripped through the hull of the Rainbow Warrior. Photographer Fernando Pereira drowned in his cabin. The Greenpeace vessel sank within minutes. The weapons that killed him: magnetically attached limpet mines, the same type Commando Hubert trains with extensively. These devices haven't changed conceptually since Italian frogmen crippled British battleships in Alexandria Harbor during 1941. A combat swimmer approaches the target underwater, attaches the explosive below the waterline, arms the timer, and vanishes into darkness. Modern French variants include features the World War II originals lacked: programmable digital timers, accurate to the second, anti-tamper mechanisms that detonate if someone attempts removal, pressure-sensitive fuses triggered at specific depths, shaped charges optimized for hull penetration. The delivery remains the hard part. Swimming into a defended harbor means evading sonar networks, patrol boats, underwater sensors, and security divers. It means placing a device precisely where structural damage will be catastrophic. One successful attack changes everything. Suddenly, every vessel in port requires constant inspection. Every shadow becomes a potential threat. Security costs explode. The psychological impact far exceeds the physical damage. A single swimmer can paralyze an entire fleet, but reaching the target requires specialized breathing equipment. Frog's closed-circuit rebreather. Standard scuba gear betrays you with every breath. Exhaled air rises as bubbles, visible from the surface, trackable by patrol boats, a neon sign announcing exactly where you are. Open-circuit diving equipment is designed for recreation, not warfare. Commando Hubert uses Frogs, a closed-circuit oxygen rebreather that produces 0 bubbles. The system captures exhaled breath, scrubs carbon dioxide through chemical absorbent, adds fresh oxygen from a small tank, and returns the mixture. Nothing escapes. A swimmer can transit beneath patrol vessels for hours without creating a single bubble. This capability comes with a price measured in lives. Pure oxygen becomes toxic below 6 meters. The symptoms begin with muscle twitching, often in the lips and face. Tunnel vision follows, then convulsions, then drowning. Commando Hubert operators memorize oxygen toxicity limits the way pilots memorize stall speeds. They learn to recognize early symptoms and respond before incapacitation. They train to navigate the narrow depth band where invisibility is possible and death is one mistake away. Every mission balances detection against toxicity. Every breath is calculated risk. And human swimming speed limits how far that risk can extend. Swimmer delivery vehicles. No combat swimmer can reach distant targets under his own power. Human endurance has limits. Even elite operators tire. Current drains energy faster than still water. Equipment creates drag. A swimmer approaching exhaustion is a swimmer incapable of completing his mission or surviving extraction. Commando Hubert operates PSM-3G systems, third-generation swimmer delivery vehicles that transport 2 operators and their equipment over distances impossible under human power. Picture an underwater torpedo you can ride. The swimmers lie prone, gripping handles, while electric motors push them through absolute darkness. Navigation happens by compass, depth gauge, and memorized waypoints. There are no windows, no lights, just instruments and faith that pre-mission planning was accurate. France pioneered this technology in the 1960s. Early versions were unreliable, constant breakdowns, limited range. Modern PSM-3G systems incorporate GPS navigation, extended power cells, and submarine docking capability for launch beyond visual detection. The classified specifications matter less than the capability they represent. Commando Hubert swimmers can approach targets that believe themselves completely isolated. Distance no longer provides security. If water connects your location to the ocean, you're within reach. The vehicles enable attacks that geography should prevent, but some missions require destroying infrastructure rather than ships. Underwater demolition charges. A limpet mine sinks a ship. Demolition charges reshape the entire battlefield. Bridges spanning strategic waterways. Underwater pipelines feeding enemy industry. Port infrastructure enabling naval operations. These targets require shaped charges engineered for underwater detonation. Commando Hubert's D-section owns this mission. The physics work in the diver's favor. Water doesn't compress. Shockwaves from underwater explosions travel farther and hit harder than equivalent detonations in air. The training is relentless. Operators learn to calculate charge placement for specific target types. They practice approaches to defended infrastructure under conditions replicating actual operations. They study structural engineering to identify critical failure points. Here's what French Naval Command discovered through exercises. Commando Hubert swimmers repeatedly penetrated security at French nuclear submarine bases during simulated attacks. They placed dummy charges on vessels and facilities that believed themselves protected by the most sophisticated defenses available. The success rate of those exercises is classified. The implication is not. Whatever defenses exist, trained swimmers can defeat them, and those swimmers need tactical mobility once they reach the target zone. Diver propulsion vehicles. The DPV is a handheld accelerator for the final approach. Unlike the larger SDVs designed for long transits, diver propulsion vehicles are compact units that increase swimming speed over shorter distances. The operator grips handles while the motor pulls him forward at speeds fins alone can't match. Commando Hubert uses these for shipboarding operations and rapid extraction. The tactical math is simple. Exposure time equals detection risk. Every second in open water means vulnerability to searchlights, sonar, and patrols. The DPV cuts transit time dramatically, covering exposed approaches that would otherwise require dangerous duration. The devices are small enough for parachute insertion and can tow additional equipment that would otherwise force unbearable swimming pace. Modern French DPVs include features that didn't exist a decade ago. Depth-holding autopilot, maintaining constant position without operator input. Programmable speed profiles for approach and withdrawal. Reduced acoustic signature defeating passive sonar at close range. Each generation gets faster, quieter, longer ranged. The underwater environment grows steadily more dangerous for anyone trying to defend against it. But eventually, every swimmer surfaces, and the fighting continues. Surface assault weapons. The water is just the approach route. The killing happens on deck. Commando Hubert operators carry HK-416 assault rifles and SIG 550 variants optimized for maritime operations. These weapons feature corrosion-resistant coatings, waterproof optics, and suppressors for noise-reduced engagement during shipboarding and counter-terrorism missions. Photographs show Hubert swimmers emerging from the Mediterranean with scrim-wrapped rifles, camouflaged, waterproofed, ready for combat. What distinguishes Commando Hubert from pure diving units is total environmental capability. Every operator qualifies for Halo and HAHO parachute insertions. Every operator can transition from underwater approach to surface assault to helicopter extraction within a single mission. The unit trains across all three domains simultaneously. May 2019 demonstrated this capability in blood. Commando Hubert operators, maritime specialist, conducted a land-based hostage rescue in Burkina Faso. 4 civilians were freed from terrorist captivity. 2 operators died in the assault, Master Sergeants Cédric de Pierrepont and Alain Bertoncello. Their deaths revealed what French Special Operations Command already knew. Commando Hubert isn't a diving team. It's a full-spectrum strike force. The surface weapons are as important as the dive equipment. From the Mediterranean depths to the African desert. Same men, same skills, same lethal precision. 70 years of continuous operations since 1953. Missions in waters spanning the globe. Actions that will never appear in official records. Capabilities that remain classified decades after development. The weapons evolve constantly. The swimmers adapt. The darkness remains their ally. Somewhere tonight, a Commando Hubert operator is moving silently toward an objective. Silent, invisible, fully armed. You won't know until it's too late.